Coach Stone Podcast.
Coach Stone Podcast number 30. I want to thank everyone listening to the Coach Stone Podcast. I want to thank JC Hawks Radio, JC Hawks Sports Network, and BJ for letting me do this. If you ever missed an episode of any of my podcasts, you can listen to them on iTunes, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Look under JC Hawks Radio. Also remember to go to my website for more information about podcasts, blogs, books, football tips, and free P games. Go to www.coachstonefootball.com. Also, I recommend when you go to the website, go to the bottom of my website for promo codes of all the products that I think would help you as a coach or a player. Some you'll hear during the commercial breaks during this podcast. Also, remember, if you haven't seen my books, Back to the Basics Football Drill Manuals, I highly recommend them. They are currently on Amazon.com, hardcover and Kindle version. There are 5 tackle books and 1 flag book, over 1,600 pages of football content and drills. Without further ado, my next guest, out of all 30 podcasts I've done, I never had a guest like this. And this guy is super awesome. I've talked to him on the phone a couple times. I like his Facebook page. He's going to talk more about it. But let me introduce Michael Wray, Jr. I'm going to just give him these titles, okay? Mike, you're inventor, creator of You're the Coach board game. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir. It's the ultimate football board game.
Awesome. So here we go. Mike, if you haven't heard this show, what we're going to do is this. We're going to do a pregame, and then I'm going to ask, you're going to talk about yourself a little bit. Then we're going to ask you a kickoff question, and then a first drive question. We'll go in at halftime. We'll do a kick return question, a second drive question, and then we'll do a 2-minute warning with your words of wisdom. Okay, Coach?
All right. Sounds good.
Perfect. Okay. So here we go, Coach. Game plan. We just started the pregame. Tell us about yourself and tell us what you do, and then tell us any social media stuff that has your board game on it. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, thanks, Coach Stone, for this wonderful opportunity. I appreciate it. My name is Michael Wray, Jr. Yes, sir. I'm from Bedford, Virginia. I went to Liberty High School. Proudly served in the United States Army and in the United States Navy. And I want to thank all of our veterans and current active duty service members and their families for their service as well. I've been assistant coach in the past. I'd also coached my godson's Little League team. If you've ever coached football at that level, that's football at its purest form, and it's really exciting. I've been a You're the Coach when I was a kid. I'm 51 years old now. I came up with the idea when I was 12, and I have never, ever given up on the vision that God has inspired me to just be able to approach people with and talk to people. And usually if I see somebody bigger than me, I say, hey, you played football, or you like football, don't you? And 9 times out of 10 we'll strike up a conversation like, hey, that's pretty cool. Well, I'm an over-the-road truck driver. I drive for Stevens Distributors out of Rolla, Missouri. And we run some into Pennsylvania, but mostly Midwest. But I basically advertise the game on the side of the truck. I mean, you can see it from like a good 100 yards away almost. And it's an exciting way to do it. And the owner, Keith Robinson, and Don Stevens allow me to be able to promote it. And it's really an awesome opportunity.
That's awesome. Cool. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about more of your game in the kickoff question. But do me a favor, Coach. Tell everybody what your Facebook page is for your company so they can go to it and like it.
Okay, I have a Facebook page called You're the Coach. It's Y-O-U-R-E, the Coach. Right now we have about 1,000 members, and also have a website page that we're currently revamping a little bit to get it more up to speed, but it's www.you'rethecoach.com. But like I said, the Facebook page is You're the Coach. And they can also reach me as my email is you'rethecoach86@gmail.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Let's do this, Coach. We are going to start up right away, okay? So I want to give you a kickoff question, if that's okay. Here's the kickoff question, okay? What is You're the Coach? Please explain to everybody.
All right. You're the Coach is the ultimate football board game. It gives the average fan an opportunity to feel like you're coaching, you're on the field, you're playing, or you're watching. It's the most realistic football board game ever. The human mind is way stronger than any video image that you could ever see on a big screen, high-definition TV, or even at a ball game, because you will allow you to see whatever you can see in your mind. I've never had a negative comment on it ever. I've had people just completely blown away by the concept. And trust me and believe me when I say this, if you play this, you will actually have flashbacks. If you've ever played football at all, you will actually have dreams about playing or have memories of it from playing the game.
That's awesome. And here's what I would say, too. When I first saw your thing on Facebook, I looked at it, and I was like, this is pretty cool because I collect board games. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know that. Only a couple of my friends know that. My wife, of course, knows that because our closet. But I like collecting unique board games like VCR Quarterback, all these games, these football games. You know, I have like 5 different Monopoly games, collector's edition ones. I have games from like 1940s and 1950s that I still play.
Oh, wow.
I don't play them with my kids because I did play Scooby-Doo Monopoly with them.
Yeah.
The Monopoly edition is super expensive, and they broke all the characters and they lost all the things. And so I learned not to let them use those board games. The other board games we have upstairs, they can touch all they want. But the ones I have, like I said, I have a lot of unique ones. The one thing I loved about your thing is with all these kids playing Fortnite and all these video games, and, you know, I used to play it before we had 5 kids, is board games are so great for a family night, right? And just by seeing your thing, and you're going to explain it later, but I do want to say, like, what I saw from the pictures, I think, Coach, you have a really good product, and I can't wait for this thing to be released because you're going to be talking about that later and things like that. But, I mean, if you have not yet and you're listening to this podcast, please go like his Facebook page. Like he said, he's already got 1,000 people, and he's got numerous articles written about it for the last, 10 years, he was saying to me. So, Coach, that's awesome. Let's do this. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll come right back, and I'll ask you the first drive question. And this is the one where everyone's going to want to know more stuff, okay?
All right.
Perfect. Coach Stone podcast number 30. I got Michael Wray Jr. on the line. He is the inventor, creator of You're the Coach board game. We'll be right back.
Safe contact, sound fundamentals. Tackle bar football is a safer approach that preserves the tradition and fundamentals of the football game. What is tackle bar football? Tackle bar football is a safer approach to the game that preserves the tradition and spirit of the sport. Players wear traditional football equipment plus a tackle bar harness that holds 2 foam bars across the lower back. The defender must attract and engage with a proper form tackling technique while wrapping the ball carrier and ripping a bar from the harness. With this approach, players stay on their feet rather than taking the ball carrier to the ground. Tackle bar.
Coach Stone podcast number 30, Michael Wray Jr., inventor, creator of You're the Coach board game. Coach, here we go. First drive question now. What made you come up with this invention?
I was working on a short story for a school project. I was trying to figure out a way to get results for the stats and scores, and I had the dice out and our plays out, and it just kind of all came together, and I've been perfecting it over the years. I mean, even today, driving down the road and driving a truck, I'll sit there and go through my mind and thinking of ideas of just ways to make it that much better so that everybody would love it.
That's awesome. That's all. And also, I know you said you served in the Navy and the Army. I want to thank you for your service, too. I appreciate that. So I do appreciate that. All right, perfect. That's awesome. Let's do this now. We're going to go to halftime, and then we come back from halftime. This is going to be a great one because I guarantee you this is going to be a long question, and you're going to have a lot of stuff for us because this is the one that I was really excited with when we talked before we started this podcast.
Okay.
But here we go. Michael Wray Jr., inventor, creator, You're the Coach board game, halftime. We'll be right back.
What legacy will you leave as a coach? The three-dimensional coaching framework empowers coaches at every level to fulfill their transformational purpose by helping them become fundamentally sound, skilled at coaching the mind, and focused on developing the heart. Are you needing to take courses to meet professional development or recertification requirements? If so, check out the different online 3D coaching course offerings at 3dinstitute.com. You can even take the 3D coaching course for 3 graduate credits. Make sure you use the coupon UNITEALL to save 10% on your entire cart. That's UNITEALL, no spaces, all one word, at 3dinstitute.com.
The Big Four, a physical education book written by Coach Anthony Stone, can be purchased through the following locations: Amazon, iTunes, BarnesandNoble.com, and Kobo.
Go Army Edge Football is a free game-changing app that allows coaches to draw their plays with X's and O's like on a whiteboard, and then get the mental reps from the first person's perspective of any position on the field with real-time 3D graphics or virtual reality. Go Army Edge Football comes preloaded with many example plays and drills for concepts such as formation recognition and RPO reads. Any coach in any system can benefit from demonstrating in Go Army Edge Football, and every player can become a better football player with extra reps in the app. Go visit them on their Twitter or Facebook, insert at Go Army Edge.
Brunch, $30.
Hey, that's okay, Wendy. That was a good carry. You're still the man. You're the man.
Latte, $4.
Shake it off, Johnny. Rub some dirt on it.
New piano, $3,000.
All right, guys. They're not saying boo. They're saying movers.
Supporting your team. Priceless.
It's all right, Bobby. You still got the best arm in the neighborhood.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
This is BCAP, right?
Back from halftime, Michael Wray Jr., Inventor creator of You're the Coach board game, Coach Stone podcast number 30. Coach, here we go. Kick return question. How does this board game different from other ones that I might have played when I was little or people that are coming out with them now? How does this board game different from other ones? The floor is yours, Coach.
Okay, this board game actually comes with a certificate where I actually personally signed it, and if people get in touch with me, I'll actually sign their name on it as well and autograph it. It has a time clock on paper that simulates an actual football game. You have the ability to play against yourself in it where the dice represents the brains and the decisions made by a coach. And it's just one simple concept, front and back, for play to coach. Also, after the result of the play, you have an excitement factor where you roll the dice to see what happens on the play, and it helps you visualize it, just brings it right to life. Because like I said before, your human mind is stronger than any video image. Also have ways to implement your kids' homework assignments into it. Like if you're having a problem with your kid and y'all have a common bond and common interest in football, but you just can't relate to them with their schoolwork. Well, they could actually get their schoolwork out, have it out there, and when they run their play and you ask them that question, if they get that question right, then they would gain a couple yards. But if they lose it, they would lose yards. And I even have an extra educational factor built into the game where I actually went on the internet and looked up like all states, capitals, presidents, national anthem, everything that kids need to know today, books of the Bible, and etc. And it's really awesome, and it's really encouraging, and it'll bring the kids and the parents closer together and away from the video, because video games, you're looking at a TV and you're sitting there with your hand-eye coordination. My game has various factors. You have a coaching factor, like you're tired of losing, so are your players, and then it goes in and explains everything on there. And I have basically got it foolproof on the instruction and rules because I have spent 34,000 hours perfecting this game. I'm 51 years old, and I came up with the idea when I was 12. You have a fitness factor. It's designed to help you stay in shape. Now, you're the coach is not going to be responsible for anyone getting hurt. That's optional. But it has awesome. If you score touchdowns, the defense must do push-ups. If you throw an interception, then you got to run in place like it simulates you're trying to chase them down the field and make the tackle. A substitution factor, like when you substitute players, it does make a difference in the game, just like in real football. Players start getting tired on the time sheet, you mark it off. You shade in a block under each position. It has a threshold there. A choke factor, like if you're leading, you can actually see how teams could really blow a lead. Emotional factor helps you relate to real-life situations. Now, this is designed to pull you Dungeons & Dragons players that love football away from that and onto this game. It even has weather conditions. I live in the Midwest in Missouri, so I have a section where, like, if you roll a 6, you could have thunderstorms and lightning. And if this occurs, you'd roll again and maybe have a 15-minute delay for storms to clear. It's all optional, simulated to make it realistic. It even has a crowd factor, like you get down inside the 10-yard line, and it's like the crowd is simulated getting louder, and it actually affects the outcome on the play. You can even design your own players, your own teams, and if you get a really good player, it does make a difference on the field. Got a high school football, college, and professional. I don't use any players, names, or teams, but you have power ratings, and it does make the game extremely accurate. And you have a basic for special teams and an advanced for special teams. On the advanced special teams, you have 900 possibilities. And if people don't want to roll the dice, I even have one called Quick Series of Numbers where they can pick out a letter and a number, and it's simulated by those numbers being in a sequence that you can refer to. So, and if they was to lose the dice, you can just pick letters and you still have the numbers represented. The excitement factor, like I explained before, is on the side of the field, and it brings it to life. And what basically, to sum it all up, is to bring the kids back to and bring families back to playing wholesome board games like a family and get them away from these other, I don't know if I can mention other names of games out there, but the way things are, make things like they used to be,
Correct. That's pretty cool. And then, so you get all these little things in it. So you have like weather. That's one thing I never know. The one thing I noticed too with your board game, and it's okay if I say it now, is it opens up like a stadium. I thought that was pretty cool when you showed me that. And the other thing too is you do dice. I didn't know about the push-up thing or the running thing. I think that's pretty cool. Like if they roll and throw an interception, they got to run for like 10 seconds or things like that. Or
it simulates them.
Run.
Yeah.
That's
and I got
cool,
a disclaimer down there like too.
Right,
awesome. And that's what makes it different.
That's awesome. And then, is there anything else that you want to share with the people, like anything else different than this board game and other things, or was that pretty much the gist of everything?
Well, what's different about this board game is it probably should have been on the shelves of your Walmarts and Targets years ago, but I'm not represented by a huge company. I'm just a simple, red-blooded, normal, everyday, average, middle-class American, working for a living, just trying to achieve that dream,
And something you did when you were 12 years old and now you're 51. Yeah. And like the one thing I thought was really cool is you said 34,000 hours. I mean, that's pretty accurate. That's like, I mean, it was like a number you just threw out there, right? Like people will be like, hey, when you wrote this book, how long? Like someone asked me today, like when I was out at a charity event, they go, hey, how long did it take you to write your first book? And I'm like, a couple months. And then like, how long did it take you to write this one? I'm like 2 years. And they're like, well, didn't that book come out first? And I'm like, yeah, but the 2-year book was like, I've just been collecting stuff. And they're like, oh, that's funny. And then, but I think that's awesome that, like you said, this board game does not just like, we don't want to say any games so we don't get in trouble, but, the ones we used to play when we were little with the dice, with the cards, with like, you said like with the people moving, with substitutions and things like that. I think that's pretty cool. And then what we'll do is later on in the show, we'll tell people like, when's it coming out, and we'll do this and things like that later. But let's do this. Let's stop right now. We'll go to commercial break. We'll come right back, and then I have 2 questions for the second drive, if that's okay.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Coach Stone podcast number 30, Michael Wray Jr., inventor, creator of You're the Coach board game. We'll be right back.
The safety of your players is more important than ever. As the game changes to protect the players, TackleTube USA is a leading way with the original innovative product design, not only to practice safer, but promote and teach the best tackling technique. Invented in 2009 by professional rugby player and coach Glenn Remnant, TackleTube allows the players to simulate real game situations, track and tackle a moving target, promote great body position, and improve technique and timing. Coaches in the U.S. and all over the globe are using TackleTube to promote a safer and more effective way to tackle. Unlike other bags that have a limited use, There are many ways to use a tackle tube in your practice, both in season and out of the season. Drills for every position. Tackle tube never needs to leave the practice field. Check us out at TackleTubeUSA.com or on our YouTube channel and all social media. Look for Tackle Tube USA.
Coach Stone Podcast number 30, Michael Wray Jr., inventor, creator of You're the Coach board game. Coach, here we go. Second drive, two-part question, okay?
All right.
When does your board game come out, and how can people purchase it?
Okay. Well, we're hoping to have it out within the next 2 months. That's our goal. It's all dependent on getting back some estimates from box companies, because this will be in a box. It'll look just like something major companies did. The way they can purchase it, it's going to be available at Barbecue Country in Opal, Virginia is one place where truck drivers know exactly where that's the best barbecue in the country there.
Nice.
Cody's One Stop in Raymondville. That's my stepson. And also the other day, I had the wonderful opportunity to meet with Angela Steele at Orslyn, and Orslyn is interested. I've got some things I have to take care of first about it, but they're interested in putting in their stores. I've also spoken with representatives from Dollar General, Walmart, and Love's Truck Stop. So that might be a little ways off. But right now, as far as being able to purchase it, we have a website, www.you'rethecoach.com. And I'll let y'all know as soon as they will be made available. And I'm also, being that I drive a semi around the country, I'm going to have a bunch of them on the truck with me. So if y'all see me out there, that you don't have to worry about a Facebook page. Y'all just look me up or blow the horn and say, hey. So
pull over, right?
Keep in mind it takes a little bit for a semi to stop. It's not like driving a car now. But I'm not one of these. I'm not one of these uppity yuppities. No matter how big and how famous and whatever this game does, if it becomes the greatest board game in the history of America, more than Monopoly, I will still be me. So you can still approach me just like any other person. It will never change me. But
the one thing I would say, too, the one thing I would say, Mike, is this. The one thing I love about your You're the Coach Facebook page is you have pictures of the actual game on your semi-truck. So I guarantee you, once someone's, like, you have to get stopped whenever you get to a truck stop, someone's got to go like, sir, hey, Mike, or, they might know you or they might not know you. And then be like, hey, what's that thing on there? And then you're like, oh.
It's already happening. Right.
Yeah. I saw one time you were playing it with somebody. That was pretty cool at a truck stop.
Oh, yeah. But, whenever I meet people and play it and stuff, I get pictures with them and stuff.
Yeah, that's really awesome, though. But, okay, so then you said it'll come out in a couple months, so and then it'll be available at certain places, you said. So what were the places right now that are guaranteed? Which places are guaranteed?
Guaranteed is Barbecue Country in Opal, Virginia. For those of y'all don't know it, that's 29 right there, just a little bit south of Warrington. Cody's One Stop in Raymondville, Missouri, where I live at. And Orslyn is still, it's go up in the air. But guaranteed is me with them on the truck if y'all see me or at a truck stop. And then hopefully after some more of these interviews, it'll be some other places that'll open up. So if y'all have like sports places that aren't like licensed or affiliated where you can make the decision, then get in touch with me, because maybe we could work something out on this to have them in your stores, because plus it'll be a plus for you because it'll bring advertisement as we go along. Say, hey, it's available at Bob's, sports cards or whatever, your name is and stuff. And I will make sure you get recognized as well.
Awesome. Well, Mike, that's great. Let's do this. Let's go to a commercial break, and then we'll come back, and then we do the 2-minute warning, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Coach Stone Podcast number 30, Michael Wray Jr., inventor, creator of You're the Coach board game. We'll be right back.
Do you preach about ball security? Is getting better each day something you strive to do? Do you want to work to eliminate fumbles? The High and Tight Teaching Football is a revolutionary design football that encompasses virtually every method known to eliminate fumbling, thus maximizing your opportunity to be victorious. The High and Tight Teaching and Training Football is state-of-the-art patented football that gives athletes and those around instant, audible feedback when you are holding the football correctly, high and tight, thus closing the gap
between the wrist and the body and the elbow and the body. Whether you're a player, utilize the wing tee carrying with two hands over the ball, or a pro style against their body, High and Tight provides an audible alert when proper hold is executed correctly. Start to create habits that win games with teaching your players how to carry the ball high and tight. Order yours today at highandtight.com. Use promo code Coach Stone to save. Coach Stone Podcast number 30, Michael Wray Jr., inventor, creator of You're the Coach board game. Coach, it's 2-minute warning time. Here we go. Words of wisdom. The floor is yours. Go, Coach.
Okay, first of all, none of this will be possible without my personal Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I want to thank you, Coach, for this wonderful opportunity. And I got some special people in my life that obviously I want to thank, my mom and dad and my grandmother. And recently I've had people that have helped me with artwork in different formats. Coach Andy Braston with Louisiana Football Gridiron did an outstanding job with the box cover. And Robert Gillis is an artist I have. And Todd Davison as investor, and Sandy Farr with helping me at Scott's Printing. But here's what I want to leave y'all with. You can have all the riches in the world, but you can't take them to heaven. I want to make a difference in people's lives on earth. God has surrounded me with wonderful people and has blessed me with this creative mind. And if this ever takes off and makes millions, I will never forget people that have been there in my life, and I will always try to lend a helping hand to be there for people. I want people to know that I'll still be the same person and still be just as approachable as I am now. And I just want to thank everybody for following me on Facebook. It's You're the Coach on Facebook and our www.you'rethecoach.com. And y'all can even reach me at you'rethecoach86@gmail.com. And if you see me out on the road, blow the horn.
Awesome. Coach, that was great. I'm not lying to you. That was great. It's the end of the game. We're all done. I hope when this product comes out, they fly off the shelves. I guarantee you, I know you're still working on a price point. You don't have to tell us yet, but I guarantee you definitely got a seller here, because I definitely want to get one, play my son, because my son won't play me in Madden anymore, but I definitely play You're the Coach. So let's do this, Coach. Again, thank you so much. Michael Wray Jr., inventor, creator of You're the Coach board game. Coach Stone Podcast number 30. I want to thank JC Hawks Radio, JC Hawks Sports Network. Remember, everyone, if you ever missed an episode of my podcast, you can listen to them on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Look under JC Hawks Radio. Also, remember, go to my website for more information about podcasts, blogs, books, football tips, and free PE games. Go to www.coachstonefootball.com. Remember, if you haven't seen my books, Back to the Basics Football Drill Manuals, I highly recommend them. It is on Amazon, hardcover and Kindle. There are 5 tackle books and 1 flag book. Tons of football drills. Whole bunch of content. You guys will love it. Coach Stone, podcast number 30, Michael Wray Jr. Mike, again, thank you for serving. Thank you for everything. Thank you for taking your idea when you were younger and making it a reality, for being You're the Coach board game.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And God bless y'all. Take care. Thank you.
Awesome. I will leave everyone with this. Always remember instilling confidence by laying a foundation. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Coach Stone Podcast number 30.
Coach Stone Podcast.